You've probably been told that diabetes is a lifelong condition, something to be managed, not reversed. But what if that isn't the whole truth? What if the body, given the right tools, already knows how to restore balance? There's one mineral, hidden in plain sight, that's quietly rewriting what we thought we knew about blood sugar. Not a new drug, not a supplement ad on late-night TV, but a trace element that's been quietly disappearing from our soil and from our food for decades. In 2021, researchers at the University of Sydney discovered that people with type 2 diabetes had 37% lower levels of chromium, a trace mineral that helps insulin move sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells. Just small daily increases in chromium intake, from natural sources like broccoli, barley, or brewer's yeast, were found to improve insulin sensitivity by nearly 20% within 3 months. That's not a miracle. That's biology remembering what it's supposed to do. Think about that for a moment. Every cell in your body is waiting for permission to use sugar for energy. Insulin is that key. But without enough chromium, the lock becomes rusty. The sugar stays trapped in the blood, while your energy crashes, your eyesight blurs, and your body quietly cries for help. It's not just about avoiding sugar. It's about restoring communication between your cells and your hormones. Barbara O'Neill often says, "The body is not your enemy. It's your messenger." And she's right. High blood sugar isn't punishment. It's a signal, a whisper from within, saying something vital is missing. Chromium, magnesium, vanadium. These minerals are the quiet architects of balance. They don't just lower blood sugar. They help the body remember harmony. So what if the real solution isn't found in another pill, but in the soil beneath our feet, the plants grown in mineral-rich earth, and the choices we make at the table each day? Imagine waking up without that fog, without the mid-morning crash, the burning thirst, the constant need for control. Imagine feeling your energy steady, your mind clear, your body working with you again. This is what the science is beginning to show us. Diabetes doesn't begin with sugar. It begins with deficiency. Our modern diet, stripped of minerals, leaves the body fighting a silent war with no ammunition. And when the key minerals return, chromium, zinc, magnesium, the body doesn't need to be forced into balance. It naturally finds it, and that's why this matters. Because for millions of people, the difference between living with diabetes and living beyond it isn't just about medication, it's about mineral restoration. It's about learning how to feed the body what it's quietly been missing for years, the foods grown in healthy soil, the trace nutrients that awaken insulin's true power, the small daily choices that remind your body how to heal. We're not talking about overnight cures or internet miracles. We're talking about real, measurable shifts, changes that ripple through your blood, your energy, your life. And when you start seeing your body not as broken, but as interrupted, something profound begins to change inside you. Because when you finally understand how the body responds to these small changes, everything about health begins to make sense. Chromium restores insulin sensitivity. Chromium is one of those quiet helpers of the body, a mineral so small in daily requirement that it's easy to overlook, yet so powerful that its absence can shift the entire rhythm of your metabolism. The body needs only trace amounts, but those traces play a critical role in how insulin, the hormone responsible for escorting glucose into cells, actually functions. Without enough chromium, insulin's message becomes faint, like a voice struggling to be heard through static. The pancreas continues to produce insulin, but the cells stop listening. Over time, this creates a dangerous pattern. Sugar lingers in the blood, energy drops, cravings rise, and the body slowly loses its natural ability to self-regulate. Here's what's happening inside, in simple terms. Insulin binds to special receptors on the surface of your cells, opening a kind of gate that allows glucose to enter and be used as energy. Chromium enhances this process by helping those receptors stay sensitive and responsive. It acts like a co-pilot, not the main driver, but essential for a smooth flight. When chromium is present, the gate opens easily, sugar moves into the cell, and your energy stays steady. When it's missing, the gate stiffens. Sugar piles up in the bloodstream and fatigue sets in. Research from the University of Sydney in 2021 revealed that people with type 2 diabetes had 37% lower chromium levels than healthy individuals, and when chromium intake was restored, insulin sensitivity improved by nearly 20% within just 3 months. Imagine a familiar scenario. Someone like Helen, a retired teacher in her late 60s, who starts noticing she's tired after even light meals. Her energy crashes mid-afternoon, her sleep becomes shallow, and she begins to feel that stubborn brain fog that makes everyday tasks slower. She blames aging at first, until she learns her blood sugar levels are creeping higher. After watching a health talk, she begins adding a few chromium-rich foods to her daily meals: a small bowl of steamed broccoli, a spoon of barley in her soup, a sprinkle of brewer's yeast in her smoothie. Within weeks, she notices something subtle but remarkable. Her energy feels steadier. The cravings between meals quiet down. Her morning walks feel easier, her thoughts clearer. She hasn't changed her medication or diet drastically. She's simply given her body back a mineral it quietly needed to function properly. This is how balance is restored, not through extremes, but through precision. Chromium doesn't burn sugar or replace insulin. It helps insulin speak clearly to the cells again. It reduces what scientists call insulin resistance, the static in the communication line between hormones and cells. Think of it as fine-tuning a radio frequency. When the signal sharpens, everything works in harmony. The mitochondria, the tiny engines inside your cells, begin to receive fuel more efficiently, leading to smoother energy production and less oxidative stress. This means less inflammation, more stable mood, and a body that once again recognizes its natural rhythm. For many, this understanding is empowering. It shifts the narrative from, "my body is broken," to "my body is missing something." And when we begin to restore that missing piece, not through artificial fixes, but through mindful nourishment, we awaken the body's innate intelligence. That's the quiet power of chromium. It's not a quick fix or a fad. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest elements can create the greatest transformations. And when we finally see how a trace mineral can realign the whole system, the story of healing begins to feel beautifully simple. The body was never the problem. It was simply waiting for the right signal to return. Mineral deficiency, not sugar alone, drives blood sugar imbalance for decades. People have been told that diabetes is caused by eating too much sugar. It's an easy story to believe. Sugar goes up, blood sugar rises, problem solved. But the deeper truth is more complex, and in many ways more hopeful. The body doesn't fall out of balance simply because of sugar. It happens when the minerals that regulate how sugar is used go missing. Chromium, magnesium, zinc. These aren't just nutrients on a supplement label. They're the conductors of the body's metabolic orchestra, ensuring that every note, every signal between the pancreas, liver, and muscle cells plays in tune. When they're deficient, insulin loses its rhythm. The cells stop responding properly, sugar builds up, and energy production falters. It's not a story of excess, it's a story of deficiency. Magnesium, for example, is the silent engine behind more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including those that control glucose metabolism. It helps convert glucose into usable cellular energy, ATP, and keeps the insulin receptors on cell membranes working efficiently. Without enough magnesium, those receptors stiffen, like rusted hinges on a door that no longer opens smoothly. Insulin keeps knocking, but the door doesn't budge, and sugar stays trapped in the blood. Harvard researchers in 2020 found that people with sufficient magnesium intake had a 22% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes, proving that restoring mineral balance directly improves how the body handles glucose. To visualize this, imagine a city where every light runs on electricity. But one by one, the transformers start losing power. The lights flicker, some go out entirely, and the whole city begins to operate in the dark. That's what happens when your body runs low on essential minerals. The lights, your metabolic processes, begin to dim. The pancreas struggles to produce effective insulin, the liver can't store glucose efficiently, and your muscles stop taking in energy. But as soon as the power is restored, when you bring those minerals back, the lights come on again, and the system resumes its natural flow. Take someone like David, a 58-year-old mechanic who's always been active but lately feels drained, foggy, and strangely anxious after meals. His doctor mentions prediabetes, and he's shocked. He doesn't even eat much sugar. On a friend's suggestion, he starts adding more magnesium-rich foods, leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, lentils, and a bit of dark chocolate. He also pays attention to zinc, found in beans and whole grains, which helps regulate how insulin is stored and released. Within a month, He notices fewer sugar spikes after meals and less fatigue in the afternoon. His body feels smoother, as if something that had been jammed has started moving again. That's not placebo. That's chemistry finding its way home. When we look closely, we realize the modern diet often strips away these minerals through processing and soil depletion. Our ancestors, eating food grown in mineral-rich earth, rarely faced the chronic imbalances we see today. Their meals carried the subtle elements that tuned insulin sensitivity, stabilized blood sugar, and kept energy flowing naturally. Modern life, with its refined foods and nutrient-depleted soils, has quietly stolen that foundation. So when we say diabetes begins with deficiency, we're not simplifying. We're clarifying. Restoring minerals doesn't just balance blood sugar. It reawakens the body's ability to communicate. It gives insulin a clear signal and the cells the means to respond. It reminds us that health isn't built by fighting against the body, but by nourishing what it has been missing all along. And when those missing notes return, the music of metabolism begins to play in perfect harmony once again. Whole foods grown in mineral-rich soil heal from the inside out. When we talk about healing from the inside out, we often imagine supplements, complex diets, or expensive treatments. Yet the most profound transformations begin in something far simpler: the food grown in healthy, mineral-rich soil. Nature designed plants to be the perfect middlemen between the earth and our bodies. They draw trace elements like chromium, magnesium, selenium, and zinc from the ground, and weave them into living nutrients that our cells can recognize and use immediately. But when the soil is stripped and overfarmed, those essential minerals vanish. What grows from that soil may look vibrant on the surface, but it's nutritionally hollow. Over time, the people eating from that system, all of us, begin to show the same depletion the soil does. At the cellular level, the minerals and polyphenols found in whole, naturally grown foods act like communication bridges. They help insulin receptors on cell membranes stay flexible and responsive, improve mitochondrial efficiency, and reduce oxidative stress, the silent form of internal rust that accelerates aging and inflammation. When we eat foods from mineral-rich environments, we're essentially feeding the body's electrical system. Every heartbeat, nerve impulse, and digestive process depends on the smooth exchange of ions, tiny charged minerals, that keep your internal rhythm steady. Without them, the system flickers. With them, it hums. Consider how a single meal can either drain or restore the body. A refined, processed meal, white bread, sugary drinks, packaged snacks, floods the bloodstream with quick glucose, but offers almost no minerals to help metabolize it. It's like filling your car with fuel but leaving out the motor oil. The engine sputters and wears out faster. On the other hand, a meal built on whole foods, a handful of walnuts, steamed broccoli, lentils, avocado, and barley, supplies not just energy, but the minerals and antioxidants that guide how that energy is used. In those foods, polyphenols and trace elements act like tiny repair crews, traveling through your bloodstream to mend cellular damage, strengthen the gut barrier, and improve how your body handles blood sugar. Take the story of Farida, a grandmother in her 70s who grew up eating garden-grown food, but later shifted to convenience meals after moving to the city. Her blood sugar began creeping upward, and her doctor warned of prediabetes. Instead of focusing solely on sugar restriction, she decided to go back to her roots. Literally. She started a small balcony garden with herbs, leafy greens, and microgreens grown in compost-enriched soil. Within months, she noticed her digestion improving, her skin glowing, and her energy returning. Her morning glucose readings stabilized, not because of a drastic diet overhaul, but because the food she ate began carrying the life force of real soil again. Her story mirrors a truth scientists are now rediscovering. Soil health and human health are inseparable. A 2018 review from the University of California, Davis confirmed that mineral-rich diets improve cellular glucose uptake and reduce oxidative stress, two of the biggest factors behind insulin resistance. When we eat closer to nature, the body receives not just nutrients, but information, biochemical messages that tell the cells how to heal, adapt, and balance. This is why people who return to whole, unprocessed foods often describe feeling more alive. It's not imagination, it's electricity. Their cells are finally communicating. Their mitochondria are producing clean energy, and their hormones are finding harmony again. So the path forward isn't found in restriction or fear, but in restoration of the soil, the food, and the body's natural intelligence. When we choose foods that come from living earth instead of lifeless boxes, we participate in the same cycle that sustains all of life. The body, given that living connection, doesn't just survive, it remembers how to thrive. And that simple act of choosing real, mineral-rich food is often the first quiet step toward real, lasting balance. It's amazing how the smallest shifts, a sprinkle of minerals, a plate of real food, a few mindful choices, can create such powerful ripples in the body. These aren't grand gestures or overnight fixes. They're quiet corrections that remind your system how to work in harmony again. When you focus on these few, specific actions, replenishing what's missing, restoring balance, rebuilding from the ground up, you often see results that go far beyond what general health advice ever delivers. So take it one simple step at a time. Add one mineral-rich food to your day. Drink a little more water. Listen to your body instead of fighting it. Progress doesn't mean perfection. It means partnership. Because the body you live in is not broken. It's responsive, intelligent, and ready to heal when you give it the right kind of help. And if you'd like to stay inspired by future stories like this, feel free to subscribe, quietly, without rush, so you can join us again when the next chapter unfolds.